Hello there YouTube, and welcome to another video. Today's video, I know that this channel kind of thrives off of the build videos, so I want to keep cranking these out. I've done a lot of different VG build videos. Back when the game first launched, I did a life staff build video, and they always get a lot of views, a lot of love, a lot of good feedback, and it seems to be some good content on this channel, so I want to keep trying pumping these out. So today we kind of did something different, did something a little interesting. We're doing a medium great axe Warhammer melee build video. Now, me personally, I do not have a lot of time played on Great Axe Warhammer. I am not the best at it, so I don't have like the best insight on Great Axe Warhammer, like melee POVs, in terms of like what your build should be, the perks, different play styles, all that type of stuff. So I brought in a guy that I play with just about every day. His name is MENDRIZZLE. I'm sure if you are watching this video and you are part of the New World kind of war community and heavy into PvP, I'm sure you've seen his name around on different servers. I would say he's one of the better melee in the game. He's very good. He's been in a lot of wars. He'll kind of go through all that stuff, but I'm just gonna kind of ask him some questions, and he's gonna kind of just dive into his build, his thoughts on medium melee, best recommendations for like 2 perk builds to like kind of start building a melee set, what you should go for in terms of like 3 perk like bis melee, great axes, warhammers, all that type of stuff, man. So if you guys like this video, if you guys want more content like this, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, let me know it in the comments below, and I'll stop talking and we'll kind of dive into it, and let's get into the video. Okay, MENDRIZZLE, tell us who you are, how many wars you've been in, how long you've been playing the game, how many hours you got played, all that kind of stuff. Just kind of go into that, like who you are as a New World player.
All right, so as far as builds go, I usually, or if not only, run 300, 200 medium, 300 strength, 200 con bruiser, which is great axe Warhammer build. I'd probably say I have 3,500 plus hours on New World. And as far as wars go, oh my god, probably I would say, just to be safe, I'd probably have over 600 or 700 wars.
Sheesh.
What was it? What's the 100 war wins achievement called?
Battlefield Legend.
Battlefield Legend. I had that in February. So
okay. How many servers have you been on?
Yakshi, Countergore, Castle Steel, Marama the first time, Valhalla, Orifina, and then I've been back to Orifina, Marama, and Valhalla 2 times.
Okay. So with that said, you've probably been in the sweatiest of wars. You've probably been in a lot of wars where you've faced the best people, would you say?
Yeah, I would say so. At least definitely towards the end.
All right, so just jump into your build. Show us your build really quick with medium melee. I know you have a medium melee set. I know you have a light melee set. So just kind of browse through that. Show us what you're like, what you go into war with, why, and all that stuff.
As of late, this is what I have right now, is like what I've been using just to experiment, which is it's like elemental version and refreshing evasion. I just do it because it's cheaper and the pieces are easy to find. Here I have 10 focus, so I'll respec for you real quick, but in order to hit 300, 200, I use carrot cake because it's cheaper. So you need 276 strength, 184 con. I feel like with 300, 200 builds, you can eat the 10 points. I don't think it really makes much of a difference to have 10 extra points. So in order to get like bis pieces, I always get 10 points off for my attributes, just so I can, get bis pieces for cheaper. This chest I've had for a while, so I basically use this in every single melee build that I have. But this is a 5 Elia version build, I believe. Yeah. And it's got Insatiable. And then Sundering Shockwave on the hammer. I would say these 2 perks are must-haves if you're a bruiser. Shockwave and Insatiable Gravwell. A lot of people used to use Path of Destiny, Leeching Path of Destiny, but you could drop it. I still don't think it's bad to use, but you could definitely drop it and it'll still work. As far as wars go, though, I always throw these boots on because if you're in a war, you gotta have Enfeebling Maelstrom. You gotta be a soldier. I know people don't like running extra weapon perks like that because they feel like it's not gonna contribute to either like more cooldown reduction for damage or like more shirking fort or resi or Ellie aversion. But you gotta have Enfeebling Maelstrom because it's just really good for the army overall. I would like to have a slash protection or fire protection on the amulet over divine, but I used to have this. I've had this amulet since probably December. So, and then invigorated slash. I have slash on this because I run keen refreshing move thwarting strikes. If I didn't have keen, I would have been running it on my ring, but that's something that I do like about having keen on the weapon is that it opens you up for at least melees to have slash on your ring. And then this I think is BIS as of right now, and I think it's going to be even more BIS for the Brimstone Sands update since they're nerfing cleansing pots and they're reducing the and they're increasing the cooldown on it. So purifying toast is just
toast, yeah.
Yeah.
So why refreshing evasion? Why not refreshing, and why not refreshing ward?
Okay, so the Ellie aversion refreshing evasion, this build I was experimenting with is primarily for if you're gonna be in the back line. I think Ellie aversion and evasion just procs more consistent. Ellie aversion's obviously flat damage reduction that you're getting at all times, and then Ellie aversion is I know refreshing evasion is whenever you're dodging. And I just don't think if you're in the back line harassing healers or, free casters on the opposing army, I don't think Shirking Fort or Refreshing Ward are
gonna proc that much.
Go-to. Yeah. So, I mean, this is also like a very niche build, right? Like, this is not to be used like at any position that they're slotting you as in the war roster.
Okay, so if you're gonna play point and you're gonna play in and around point, this is the build you're looking at?
Yeah, so this is I'm looking at this for specifically I'm transitioning over from a heavy Ellie aversion and refreshing evasion towards more shirking fortification and refreshing ward. Still keeping the enfeebling maelstrom because I always think that's go-to for the wars. But yeah, this is going to be featuring less ward overall than evasion, which is okay because ward, how it procs right now, you can get more usage out of it with running less than you would for evasion. You need a high amount of refreshing evasion pieces currently to really start feeling it. So on this one, I believe I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, which is not bad.
So would you use the Terror Crash then?
Yeah, I mean that's dependent on the player, right? Because it's I mean at this point you're using it to get more cooldowns, and I guess more cooldowns would equal more damage, right? Or effective damage, since abilities like Gravwells and Maelstroms are actual, good forms of damage as opposed to like, if you're just adding attunement on your weapon to get extra 400 damage, right? So I mean, what would be the difference here between these hammers is if you want keenly empowered or another ward piece. So I think that'd be up to the player. I think you'd probably get more out of having keenly empowered just because when you swap over to your axe, it already gives your Gravwell and Maelstrom combo more juice. So I think that'd be more effective having keenly empowered. But I definitely don't think for being a free hammer that you can get from a world drop that refreshing ward would be a bad option at all. But I mean, this has what I think would be the minimum for if you're running a point is 2 shirking fort. I know people would say 3 to 4. I find two shirking fort is more than enough for me. But I definitely wouldn't, argue against anybody saying 3 is a sweet spot because that'd be a really good case. 3 shirking fort is good, but 2 is the sweet spot for me here, and I get to have as much like ward as I would like, which is in this case it's 3, I believe. No, 4, sorry, and I think that's more than enough for me. So I also get to have 3 freedom too, which is another thing that I think people as of right now aren't really, leaning towards. I've been seeing people do it a lot more now. But I do think the 3 freedom is nice, and I think it's going to be even more effective for the next patch as well, when you're not going to be able to cleanse as often. So being able to get out of the shockwave stuns is going to be crucial.
Okay, so go through your gems. I'm sure that everything's kind of mix and match right now, but what's your ideal like split on your
everything
your physical,
is
your
mix and
elemental,
matched.
depending on what kind of war it is, I'm sure. But what's kind of your ideal situation for your gems and your splits?
Right. So here it is. This is the split that I always go for.
So why very low on a lot of the elemental damage, but very high on the fire?
So as far as elemental damage goes, unless you are getting shot by a musket, you're never really going to be taking too much damage from nature. And then unless you have a void gauntlet on top of you, you're not going to be really taking much damage from void. And in my opinion, to be honest, you don't even really get hit that hard from void, and you're a void player, so I think you would know. Orbs and auto attacks from VGs just don't really even have that much oomph to it. And then most players nowadays, when you're getting hit by ice, it's just a storm, right? Which I think is not even ticking you for nearly as much as I would feel like I'd have to slot towards. I know people were slotting ice gems because there was that meta going on where everyone, especially melees, were running ice gems inside their axes. But I also run Elliot version, usually 2 minimum on my gear. So I feel like that's more than enough to compensate for running, being pretty low on the other elementals outside of fire damage. Because personally, for me, fire is what just really hits me hard. And on top of it hitting me really hard, it's from everywhere, right? It's not dependent on what position you're playing, because at all positions you're going to be getting hit by fire, in my personal opinion.
Fire
if you're
staffs,
backlining,
blunderbusses.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in the backline, you're going to be getting hit by fire staffs that are either peeling or just casting from back there, and you're a free target, so they're just going to dump abilities on you. And then if you're in a clump, you're going to be getting hit by fire staffs, and on top of that, blunderbusses from the plague splitting grenades and the shrapnel blast. So, I mean, in my opinion, you just can't go wrong with fire damage. It's a lot easier to iframe or dodge incoming physical damage as opposed to when you're in a clump. It's really tough to, prepare to dodge incoming fire damage, which is coming in from range. You just can't really see it coming, period. So the fire damage resistance just helps you face tank it.
All right, so this is your 2 perk. You just leveled this character up. I can see already you don't really have too many gold pieces. This is kind of your starter set. Kind of just go through this and tell us what you're working with.
Yeah, so this character, I, as you can see, barely have any gold on. Didn't have a lot of gold to work with. I actually was given 40k to this character, and this was pre-level 60, so I was using it for town boards. Shout out to Miller, he's the one that gave it to me. When I hit 60, I would say I had, dude, I don't know, like 28k left after doing town boards, around there. So this is all just, I'd say around 28 to 30k. And I really think you can't go wrong with these as far as the armor goes. This is it's a 2 perker. I also really tried to get pieces that were split stat. That way, when I had to use Umbral Shards to boost them and get the extra attribute points, I could use less Umbral Shards to do so. So you're going to see a lot of split stat in here. I have Elia version Resilient here. And then Shirking Fort Resilient. Shirking Fort Enfeebling Maelstrom. Like I said, I always like to get Enfeebling Maelstrom into the mix. And then Elia version Resilient. And Shirking Fort Resilient. Which ends up putting me at, I believe, 4 Resilient, 3 Shirking Fort, 2 Elia version, and I get my Enfeebling Maelstrom in.
Two Shirking Fort, no?
3
Shirking
2,
Fort.
yeah.
2 LA aversion.
I'm sacrificing a resilient to hit the 3 shirking fort.
So why
mark.
4 resilient and not 5?
I think the difference between 4 and 5 is not too big, to be completely honest with you. And I feel like in this case, I can benefit more from having the shirking fort, in my personal opinion. Also, I believe I was going to be playing point a little more on this character, so I went for more shirking fort. As far as jewelry goes, this is the amulet that I was able to grab. I personally don't think that stamina recovery is necessary if you are running this this tree right here. I need to finish leveling up my weapons, but if you're running down to get the Mauler's Fury ability, you're gonna end up having to get Mauler's Resolve, and it's basically like a built-in stam recovery. So I don't think it's absolutely necessary. That piece was just, it was cheap and it was a good price, so I figured it wouldn't hurt to get it. But in this case, I probably will opt into getting a protection in the future, like a slash protection or a fire protection when I can get enough gold for it. The ring as well, same thing, just got it for cheap. It was a split stat, so I figured I'd get it for now, but you definitely want to have an invigorated punishment ring. And in my personal opinion, if you don't have keen on your axe, you want it on your ring, vice versa. If you have keen on your axe, then get slash on your ring to juice the damage up a little more. And then as far as earrings go, I actually think that this is, 2 perk earring bis. Refreshing toast and purifying toast is everything that you need. Anything else that you get on top of that is just a luxury.
It's usually just an extra cooldown perk, right? Refreshing evasion, refreshing ward.
Yeah, definitely. And then this axe I just got, actually. I did it to get the Insatiable Gravel perk, which I think is crucial. And I think the Vicious and Chain help make up for the damage that I'm not getting from having thwarting. Also, I personally think that with saving from getting Insatiable Gravel on any of the armor pieces that I have, it opens me up to have better survivability for my character, and I can still put enough damage out by getting the perk on my weapon, and that's as well as the hammer. The hammer I just ended up buying because it was split stat and it was really cheap. This is probably the piece that I would like to swap out the most because I just don't like chain on it at all.
So what would be an ideal 2 perk hammer?
Ideal 2 perk that you just can't go wrong with at all would be Keenly Empowered and Sundering Shockwave. But that does cost some gold. So
all right, so go through your Great Axe Warhammer trees.
All right, so we'll start off with the Great Axe. This is the Great Axe tree that I run if I'm going to be backlining in medium, and fighting clumps in medium as well, or just playing in our road in general. This is probably, like, I would say, at least personally for me, like my go-to for when I'm in medium. I'm a charge gamer. I'm not a whirlwind gamer, but
so talk about that. Why charge and why not whirlwind? Because a lot of players use whirlwind nowadays, and I don't think they're going to be giving it up anytime soon.
It's just preference. I don't like the cooldown on whirlwind. I don't like how you can, in my opinion, get easily stunned out of whirlwind. I've tried using whirlwind. I just personally play much better with charge, and I also like the versatility that you get with charge as far as being able to chase somebody down, and even being able to like implement it into a combo. If you say you have 2 light swings on somebody and they get low enough, you can opt into charging them immediately, and it'll basically count as like a third auto attack that you can get off before your third swing. So I personally just like charge, but I mean, whirlwind has a really good place too. It's good for building up stacks if you're running maulers, and you can just get bigger grabs overall. For fortifying, whirlwind is a really good perk too. Just extra fortify, the more the better. But personally for me, I'm a charge gamer.
All right, now go to your Warhammer tree.
So this is what I run for my Warhammer tree. For wars, I'm always going to choose Wrecking Ball over Armor Breaker. I don't think Armor Breaker is bad at all. I think if you're diving, Armor Breaker is a really good ability. I think if you're in a coordinated group, Armor Breaker is a really good ability. The only reason I definitely don't run it now is because from where I'm playing, after shockwaving somebody or just having somebody standing still and trying to follow up into Armor Breaker, I'd say 90% of the time get hit before you can use Armor Breaker on them. Because in case anybody doesn't know, when you get stunned in this game, if you damage, the game has a feature where it'll break you out of the stun early, just to prevent you from getting CC chained. So Armor Breaker sometimes can be like a little slow or clunky. So I like Wrecking Ball. And then I know a lot of people usually don't take this perk here, but I personally am just a fan of the free haste, just because it helps you get around, especially if people are focusing you. You can just use a hammer ability. It's anybody's going to be debuffed during war. It's just everybody's always going to have one, so you're almost always going to have guaranteed haste. So I like choosing this one, but I do know people use this one as well, just because it lowers your cooldown when you light attack, and people definitely do use the hammer to light attack sometimes.
So what gems do you have in your weapons right now? It looks like you're using opals for both.
Yeah, so I currently use opals for both weapons. This is probably going to be the most controversial amongst just medium great axe hammer players, because you see so many of them running different types of gems. People still do run the frost gems in their axe as well. I think that's a good option if you have VGIGs or blunderbuss IGs in your group that are making sure that you have storm under your feet at almost all times. Then yeah, you definitely do benefit from that. The frost gem on your axe is definitely not a joke. I would recommend that. Usually I throw it on if I'm playing point. I personally like using opals on my axe because I like the damage boost that you get when you dodge before every ability. I usually try to do it if it's safe. It's really tough. You have to get used to it because you can build some pretty bad habits if you're just constantly dodging on purpose and burning stamina to get more damage. But once you get it down, I personally feel like you benefit more from having opals in your weapons. But I mean, gems in your weapons are always subject to change, just as the meta works in this game. And I mean, at one point, you really just can't go wrong, right? At the end of the day, it's usually whatever works best for you. Obviously, if you're running emeralds in your weapons, that doesn't work. But I mean, as far as opals in your weapon, and then throwing in the elemental gems too, that definitely works for some people. I've ran elemental gems in my weapons before too, and it definitely worked. I know that there's been a trend of people running malachites in both weapons as well. I personally have not tried it. I probably won't, but I know people do that as well. So that's like another option too that you can go for. And that's going to be all for the video, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Just make sure to like and subscribe to TTV Palmadelic. Check him out. He's on Twitch as well. And he's definitely going to be feeding on more content like this in the future. So make sure to stay posted.
All right, you heard the man. If you guys like this video, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next one.
Yeah, I just wanna go back home. Can't do this anymore. I can't get through to you.